Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here. So, expansion 2 for Forza Horizon 5. Where is it? Are we even going to get one? If so, when will it be released? These are pretty much the questions that the community has been asking since the Series 17 livestream that happened just last week. Now, the reasons as to why we have been quite eager to know about the next expansion is, well, one, back in November of 2022, Torben Ellett, who is the senior designer over at Playground Games, stated that the team is hard at work making the new expansion, and more news is to come in the early new year. And after the Series 17 livestream ended, there were no words about the new expansion, and two, it's been well over a year since Horizon 5 launched, and no true details has been unveiled about the second expansion, which has never happened before in the series, as in the past, from Horizon 2 through to Horizon 4, the second expansion would be out well within the first year of the title being launched. Therefore, you might be asking, will it even be released? Well, first off, don't worry, yes, we are getting 2 expansions for Horizon 5, as players who have bought the premium edition or add-on bundle for the game are already promised to receive 2 expansions. Therefore, it's Playground Games' responsibility to fulfill what has been sold to the customers. Now, I'm not sure what the terms and conditions are between Microsoft and Playground Games, but I would imagine that there might be some legal issues, especially for the developers, should, quote-unquote, worst case scenario, they end up not releasing expansion 2 for whatever reason, despite charging people money for it. So essentially, it's much easier legally for the developers to make expansion 2. The only problem is, when we purchase a game like Forza Horizon 5 in a bundle that does include 2 expansions sometime in the future, there are no release dates for them, nor do we actually know what the expansions are. So Playground Games realistically can decide to release whatever they want, whenever they want. It's us, the consumers, and more so the ones that are really heavily invested into the Horizon series, that has an expectation for them to deliver something of value within a certain time frame, because when we spend our hard-earned money to buy the premium bundle or the add-ons, which aren't cheap by the way, we aren't just buying solely for the content. We are pre-purchasing these bundles before the expansions are even announced, because we also believe in what the developers can produce, and this comes from building up a great reputation by not just releasing a solid base game, but also DLC add-ons too, which Playground Games have done for many years. It's only recently, with the terrible launch of Forza Horizon 4 back in 2018, the underwhelming LEGO expansion, and waiting an extra year for the release of Horizon 5, only for it to be considered average by the majority, that the strong reputation that was once built has started to crumble, which then results in the community starting to lose faith towards the developers, and that's when more and more questions start arising. The doubt from the community, I would imagine, has grown so large to the point that now Playground Games felt the need to address that expansion 2 is in the works and to be ready for more news to come in the new year, even though nothing was actually revealed. I mean, when has that ever happened in the past? In previous Horizon titles, they just dropped a trailer seemingly out of nowhere, and boom, majority of the community will be like, man, that expansion looks awesome. Oh, release date 2? Sweet, I can't wait to try it out. But now, I believe expansion 2 was briefly mentioned to alleviate some of the doubts from the community, as this comes right after a time when some of the worst and overhyped monthly updates were seen since the festival playlist was first introduced. That is why building that solid game, bringing in monthly content that players actually enjoy, making good expansions that are in line with what the Horizon series is, maintaining that strong reputation with the community is so valuable, because then Playground Games won't have to address the situation about expansion 2, as the community will believe in what they are going to produce. However, because they did say something about expansion 2, along with a date for more information, and there's nothing but silence, it just doesn't help their situation at all. Now granted, yes, for those who aren't aware, 6 major employees, including creative director Mike Brown, did leave Playground Games recently, which could have thrown a massive spanner in the works, but I just wish that even if there was no new information to be revealed or if Expansion 2 is not ready, a small update would have been nice for the Series 17 livestream, because then at least the developers stayed true to their words to some capacity, and really all we are looking for is some transparency. The Horizon community, I believe, are quite understanding, but when Playground Games in a sense delivers a promise but immediately breaks it, then how are we going to rebuild that trust? And sadly, from this point onwards, the more silent Playground Games are towards Expansion 2, the more concerned we get. And also, on the contrary, the higher the expectations will be. Now, judging by what was teased for Update 18 with this Horizon takeover, it seems highly unlikely that we will receive any further updates about the upcoming DLC. However, I could be wrong though. So then, when do I think the release date will be, and what theme could it possibly be? At first, we were kind of hoping that the second expansion might be released sometime in the first quarter of 2023, which is still possible, but here is something perhaps many of you may not have thought about. The upcoming Forza Motorsport was supposed to release sometime in spring of 2023, which is around March to June, but since that title has now been delayed to a much later date, it may have also indirectly caused the second expansion for Horizon 5 to be released at a later date too. I know some of you are probably wondering, well, how do the two titles affect one another? They both are different developers, right? Well, it's more so from a marketing and sales point of view. Let's just say if the new Forza Motorsport title was to be released at the intended date from around April to June, then Horizon 5, being the older title, would want Expansion 2 to be out before those dates while the player base is still there, thus maximizing the amount of revenue being generated. But release Expansion 2 after the new Forza Motorsport game is out, then a split between the player base will happen, which could then also lead to less sales, which means less money being made. But because Forza Motorsport has now been pushed back to a much later date, I believe Playground Games won't be as eager to release Expansion 2 as initially intended. Maybe they might spend a little more time on it. I don't know. Hence, I believe why we most likely will see the new DLC sometime around May or even June of 2023 now. And with the theme, I've been reading on the interweb that perhaps Expansion 2 could be a LEGO expansion again, as in the Direct Developers livestream when Turn 10 was presenting the upcoming Forza Motorsport, there were many LEGO built cars kind of deliberately hidden and placed in many of the B-roll footage. I really hope this isn't true, and I hope that they weren't teasing the fact that LEGO would be Expansion 2, and the fact that the community are even considering that a LEGO remake could possibly be in the works just goes to show the lack of faith the community has now for the developers. At first saying we hope LEGO won't be Expansion 2 right after the Hot Wheels expansion launched was more of a meme, but now it's certainly worrying that it could possibly be true. I'll be making a separate video about my thoughts on the LEGO rumors, but please, Playground Games, you guys have the suggestion hub, you have YouTube videos and comments to read the feedback, and you have to do something other than LEGO. What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comment section below. I do read all of your comments, guys. But anyways, if you guys did find this video interesting or useful, please make sure to smash the thumbs up button, as it really does help me out. And of course, if you would like to stay up to date with everything Forza Horizon 5 related, be sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on, so that way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.